You all here, however many of you there are who are here, that is, don't really know, haven't got my YouTube windows open. Sorry, a little bit late in coming online. Just had one or two issues getting the old technology working this morning. All right, so straight to the order of business, shall we? Straight to the order of business. As most of you will be aware, I started a challenge last week where I was looking to do a week of dry fasting in order to precipitate the loss of an amount of adipose tissue, otherwise known as fat, from my body. And that was occurring, as reported to you in update number 1 a couple of days ago, and it was occurring very successfully, actually. There were fairly large amounts of fat coming off my body on a daily basis, which I was reporting to you in arbitrary heat units, just out of spite, really, to try and precipitate some discussion on that and get some chat going, etc. Anywho, as part of that challenge, we had set some safety parameters around physiological responses variously, such as, for example, urinary outputs, blood pressure measurements, etc., as well as one or two. Hello, Auntie Pim.
Oh, I thought you had a premiere.
No, I'm live online right now.
Right, okay, have fun.
Oh, I will. Say hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Very nice. Yes. I'm just telling them all about what went tits up with the challenge.
Yes, that was fun. How do you feel today?
Really quite appalling still. Very tired.
Kidneys?
Yeah, I'm okay in that respect, thanks. Yeah. I'll talk to you afterwards, after I've talked to these guys.
Okay,
Right. Bye-bye. Right, so yes, Pim's just off to take the little fluffies for their constitutional, because for the first time in a week, we've got some sun. Yeah, okay, so what happened? Yeah, we had some safety parameters around blood pressure, around urinary output, and around one or two subjective things as well, including the subjective experience of any kind of pain and discomfort that may potentially point to or be concerning in some way. And as such, as responsible safety-first scientists, we made a decision yesterday to pull the pin on the challenge, on the dry fast, and to break that dry fast in an appropriate and sensible fashion, because I drifted out of range on a number of the safety parameters, specifically the urinary output, which was off-scale low, the blood pressure, which was off-scale high, and the subjective experience of pain, specifically of a pain level above 5 on a 0 to 10 scale, specifically localized around my kidneys. So we went, right, no more dry fasting at this stage. So we pulled the pin, as is right and proper and sensible, I think. However, that being said, I think we made the point that I really wanted to make, which was that there was 3 and 4 times the amount of energy being lost from my body than my body was actually spending during those first couple of weigh-ins on that challenge. And as such, another reason to point the finger of dismay, I guess, or bemusement, or even amusement at this whole idea of calories in, calories out. So let's see what, before I elucidate further on that, let's see who's saying what in chat. First in the house, General Luke Gear of the Meat Militia, of course. Good work, General. Good to see you in the house first. Kate from Poland, hello, good to see you. Rhino, best info out here, out there, or out here? In here. Yes, I think so too. I think it's good information that you get from my fine, actually science-based channel. Of course, I have to think that. Otherwise, why would I be doing it? Jonathan Griffiths, good to see you. Good to see you. Tom's in the house. Good to see you, Tom. Excitement coming up in future times. Tom's working on a little bit of a top secret project. Well, I assume it's top secret, so I won't say what it is. Tom's working on a project. It's going to be great. And it involves a number of us carnivore influencers online, and that's going to be an awesome thing. Just Bo is here. Good to see you, Just Bo. Tess, very glad to see an update. Worried when you didn't get one yesterday. Yes, well, I really was in no state yesterday, Tess, to actually come online I was quite unwell yesterday. And also not remotely in the mood to view the thing at all philosophically. I was quite pissed off that my body had decided to reject my my idea of doing this challenge fully and completely for 7 days. 3 out of 7, and it said, no, that'll do me, sort of thing. So, anyway, that's what happened. A lot of people may have pushed through it, which I do not recommend, people, by the way. If you get into the position I got into yesterday, specifically, again, that was urinary output off scale low, blood pressure off scale high, subjectively an experience of 5 out of 10 pain localized to the kidneys during dry fasting, added to, subjective thirst that was off scale high, subjective feelings of fatigue, etc., etc. Do not continue to fast. Don't push through that. It's, we are not here to be brave soldiers in that respect. That is risking your health. That is not worth it for what is ostensibly a YouTube channel to make a point, which I made anyway in the first 2 days, which I'll get back to when I'm finished dealing with saying hello to all of you who are in the house, my good loyal soldiers. Yes, hello Pim, says Tom. She's gone now, of course. Bo says hello Pim. Shelley says hello Pim. Everybody says hello Pim. Tess says hello Pim, etc. Yes. Skipping through one or two of the comments now, just because we're looking for new contributors. Pulled the Pim. No, Pim pulled the pin, frankly. The duly appointed and an appropriate authority, the medical officer, said this stops now on the basis of those readings and those subjective experiences as reported dutifully to her by the Field Marshal, yours truly, this bad bald man, and the decision was made. No, we're not progressing. This stops, and it stops now, and this is the process we go through to break this fast safely and sensibly, which I then ignored a little bit and suffered some more consequences for because I drank too much water too quickly. Anyway, that's for another day. No more dry fasting at this stage. I'm so funny. I'm glad you think it's funny. It wasn't funny for me yesterday. I was so pissed off with the whole thing. I really was. Yes. Big Tom will give me a hug and squeeze me so hard that more piss comes out. It's all good. More piss is coming out now, Tom, that I've put some water back in. Yes, do hit the thumbs up, folks. Thank you, General Lukey, for that. So next steps, sir. Right, well, the first steps when you break the fast are to slowly and deliberately drink a small amount of water, preferably with a small amount of electrolyte in it. Wait half an hour at least, then have some bone broth, then wait a couple of hours at least, and then have a bit of something light to eat if you're going to, or more fluid if you need to at that stage. Not what I did, which was go glop, 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 which only made things feel a bit worse for the next half hour, actually, or hour or so after that, because I wasn't listening to the medical officer. Silly me. At least I was listening enough that when she said, this has got to stop, that we went, okay, fine. We will stop then. All right. What would you think about doing this more short-term and using a sauna? Yeah, Ryan, I think that it's very individual and also situational. I mean, on another week, at another occasion, my body might not rebel in the way it did this week. It's just been a shitstorm of whatever the degrees of freedom are that's meant that my body hasn't been able to cope with it at all this week. It wasn't perhaps an ideal lead up to the start of the thing. There are other things I could have done to build up to it more gradually, more progressively. I don't particularly have a great deal of fat on my person to be playing with anyway, so I may well be close to a genetically predetermined ceiling, basement level, floor level. Not really sure. I'm not against the idea of dry fasting at all. I think it is a tool of utility in moving fat off your body. The fact that I haven't been able to continue with this challenge this week does not speak poorly of dry fasting per se. What it does do, though, is reinforce what I said even the day before, which was to tell people, look, don't just go and do this yourselves without supervision, without someone who knows what they're doing, to set sensible safety parameters with you and have sensible lines that you don't cross, or if you do cross those lines physiologically, then on safety grounds you pull the pin and you stop the challenge and you rehydrate and you refeed and you fall back and you reorg, basically, and that's what we're doing. I'm going to fall back and reorg. I'm going to do a bit more wet fasting over the next few weeks to achieve the body composition goal that I'd set myself for this challenge. It's just going to take a bit longer to achieve that because wet fasting is so much slower than dry fasting is. So yes, I think that both fasting and dry fasting are both fine, both legitimate tools for legitimate purpose, which can be employed. But I really seriously want to stress, I really don't think people should just go out there by themselves and do it without a clinician on hand to supervise and to help you make good quality decisions with an absolute safety first approach to it. So that's my feeling on that. Yes, the first rule of Tom Clark Club is you do not talk about Tom Clark Club. Unlike the Institute for Scientific Integrity here, which is the overarching organisation for all my various YouTube channels and endeavours and such, the first rule of the Institute for Scientific Integrity is that you do not stop talking about the Institute. You link the videos widely all over the place. You let people know that we're here and that we have good and valuable information to impart to the general public, that we are sensible, we are scientific, we are safety-based first. We absolutely believe in the Hippocratic Oath. Not that I've ever taken the Hippocratic Oath because I'm not a physician, but I believe in its tenets, which is first, do no harm. Unlike basically, the medicinal fraternity. They say that's their motto, but actually in practice, it's nothing of the sort, is it, boys and girls? You know what I'm talking about. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more at this point, because we're not allowed to. Yeah, but let people know we're here. Tell people. All my videos are now safe to share links to online. There's no naughty words in them anymore. There's no berating of people who are intellectually differently abled for any reason. There are no people who identify as herbivores being abused for such anymore. I'm still going to make 1 or 2 videos here and there critiquing 1 or 2 videos made by others where they're saying things that aren't correct. Of course, the deportment and style of those videos will be different moving forward. Craig says, glad you're saying staying safe. Yeah, me too. Better to end the experiment than to end up in hospital. Exactly that. Safety first. First, do no harm. Is it worth pushing through a situation like I experienced yesterday because of some YouTube challenge and risk doing potentially permanent damage or even dying, potentially, to subserve what ostensibly is a few YouTube views, and not as many views as I would have hoped, actually, by the way, boys and girls. Maybe you're not sharing my videos enough. Are you sharing my videos? You. Yes, you, soldier. Are you sharing my videos on your social media? Are you? Are you? I did not see you this morning at the camouflage training, to which, Ryan, the only acceptable answer is, thank you, sir. Soldier, the first and last words out of your mouth should be sir, and nothing else. Got it? Good. Oh, we've been through this, Ryan. We've really been through this. You need to get this one right. I did not see you this morning at the camouflage training. Okay, now you type, thank you, sir, in the chat box so that I know you're listening. All right, good. Tess says, that's what I worried about. Glad to hear you broke the fast. Yes, I was pissed off. I was disappointed. I was frustrated. I was annoyed. But it was the right decision to make. It was what we talked about beforehand. It came to pass. And I'll tell you what it was. My urinary output dropped below 200 mils for a 24-hour period. And my blood pressure went up to over 150 on 90 from its normal 115 on 80. Not good. Kidney pain, tiredness, thirst off scale high. It meant that while my body was producing a lot of water by uncoupled respiration to produce a lot of said water, it wasn't keeping up. It wasn't speeding up enough. And as such, that's what I would suggest was probably happening there physiologically. Glad you're okay. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate that. Just Bo says, glad you did the sensible thing. Yes, me too, on hindsight today, having had now a bit of a refeed and a bit of rehydrating and a bit of calming myself down and going, okay, fine, shit happens. I'm satisfied and happy that it was the right thing and was much the sensible adult approach to take to this rather than being irresponsible and silly. I want to set a good example for you all, so that's what it is. Interestingly, having consumed quite a vast amount of fluids, water, with electrolytes last night, and a full meal as well before going to bed, looking at the weight and everything this morning, I'm actually about the same as I was. I haven't put any weight on, despite having put in significant weight of water, which I have not yet excreted. So it would seem to back up and suggest how badly dehydrated I probably actually was, without really even realizing how dehydrated I was. Also, dry lips, cotton mouth, woolly brain was going on, and I've still got a bit of that this morning even. Right. Love and admiration from Ohio. Thank you very much. Keep fighting the good fight. I will. Don't worry. I'll never stop fighting the good fight as long as my kidneys don't explode, which they didn't, luckily, because we had safety margins on that. Clutter Monkey says, I'm looking forward to the Seco idiots try to debunk your proof. Should be very amusing. Yeah, I'll get back to that, Clutter Monkeys. We'll talk a little bit about the what we actually did show during the experiment, such that it was for the period of time that it did go on for before we had to stop doing it. And we'll talk about some of the things that become clear out of that. Right, good. Hello, just joined. Well, Jason from Wales, you're late. That means you're on dusters after class. Stay behind, and I'll run you through the drill of the dusters. Yes. Say hello. Okie dokie. Good. Tom loves a good experiment. Awesome, Tom. Like it a lot. Fasting is bad. I'm convinced by this. No, it's not bad at all, Jason. Fasting is a valid tool. Fasting is a tool of utility. Fasting can be used with good effect for a number of indications at various times. The only thing I would caveat that with is that people should and must be under competent supervision of a responsible adult while they are fasting. You also need to understand that fasting comes in all sorts of different forms, from things that I wouldn't even personally call fasting myself, i.e. IF, which is some period of numbers of hours during the day where you don't eat and a number of hours during the day where you do. That's not even fasting, but some people call that fasting. Right through to wet fasting for 24 hours or 48 hours or longer, where no food is being consumed but fluids are still being consumed as normal. Then there's dry fasting, or soft dry fasting, which is you're not drinking any fluid or eating any food, but you can still brush your teeth, you can still bathe or shower or go for a swim or any of those things. And then there's hard dry fasting, where no fluid comes into contact with your skin or oral cavity in any way, shape or form for periods of time. They all have their indications, except for hard dry fasting. I don't get it on that one. I don't see the benefit of hard dry over wet. Doesn't make sense physiologically. It seems like an overly masochistic headfuck, actually, that one. If someone can convince me otherwise, they're welcome to, but I haven't seen anything that would point me in that direction. Yes. You should have put some water in the other end, like the old Australian IV. An enema, a water enema? No thanks, Tom. That doesn't sound like fun. Why be pissed off? It's real feedback. Because I had set myself a goal to show a certain thing over a certain period of time, and I thought that I would be able to do it because I had prepared myself, I thought, adequately for it, and done what I thought I needed to do to be able to do it. It's something that others have done before me many, many times successfully. Unfortunately, though, I wasn't able to. It's disappointing. It pissed me off. It's frustrating. But I'm taking the sensible safety-first approach. I don't see how that would be difficult for anybody to understand. Okay. Lucas says, what are your thoughts on the possible causes for the negative consequences you experienced? It's really hard to say, Lukey, exactly what led cause and effect to what else, why my preparation has not been as effective as I thought it should be. It may be to do with some of the stress and nonsense that I've been going through in the month or so leading up to it. Who knows? That's just a complete guess. It may well be that there's been too much cortisol floating around in my system and I'm just too overly activated in that way. Hard to say. I'd be guessing. If anybody else has any guesses, feel free. Excellent decision and message. So many irresponsible, non-qualified clowns out there pushing dry fasting. Yes, exactly. I agree. And I think they ought to stop it, frankly. I think they ought to stop it because it is dangerous and it is irresponsible to attempt this without qualified, sensible, experienced supervision on hand. And the mere fact that some of these people have not yet encountered a problem where someone has become very, very ill or even died as a result of their advice is luck. At some point, it's going to happen, I'm sure. And I don't want that happening. That's why I think those people should stop what they're doing. Anyway, that's that. Right, Bruce says, hey. Hey, Bruce, good to see you. Okay, Jason, you clearly are not someone who's up on the physiology here. You're clearly someone with an opinion. What I often say to people like you is, opinions are like anal orifices, okay? Almost everybody's got one, and most of them are full of excrement, okay? There are very good, very clear physiological reasons for what I was doing. They are, in fact, outlined in my earlier videos on this topic in this series. If you'd like to go and educate yourself and find out from someone very, very well educated and experienced in physiology, health science, medical science, all of those kind of things, i.e. me, go and learn something instead of mouthing off an opinion that actually isn't based on anything, okay? Go and do that. I'd suggest you go and do that right now, in fact, because frankly, you're pissing me off. Okay. Please don't lose any more weight. Yes, no, I've reached, I think, a fairly close to my baseline amount that I'm going to get to. I'm sitting just over 135 pounds, just over 60 kilos for those that speak the new money. I'm quite lean. I'm down to about 16 or 17% body fat, which at the age of 50 with very, very slight musculature, really, because I'm not active or trained, could well be close to what I could possibly achieve anyway. And that might be another answer for Lukey as well on his question. What I should seriously do next, and what I will do next, actually, as my next challenge, is I'm going to undertake a period of resistance training to show that even men in their 50s can put on significant muscle mass if they know what they're doing, which I do in that regard. So that's one to look out for next. That'll be a slower process, though, than just about exploding my kidneys. Okay. Mudit says, I've done a week dry fast and it was amazing. Great, I'm glad. I wish I could have done the same. That was my plan. My body wouldn't allow it this time around. I may well go back to it and try it again another time if I should see fit. We shall see once we've done our reorg and replan on that one. Yes. Bruce is asking Shelley what are her thoughts about both plant and whey proteins. And Shelley is saying plant protein is not the same as animal protein. And she's quite right too. You've been paying attention in class, haven't you, Shelley? Unlike those other disruptive kids sitting down the back, chewing gum, throwing darts, etc. The kids that think they know everything already. Those ones. Yes. Can you maintain healthy electrolyte levels while doing this somehow? Yes, there are ways of doing it. There are ways of achieving it without taking in fluid. That's one of the other things you could put on the list of potential things that might have happened to me this time around. I wasn't doing that. It would have involved taking electrolytes in a dry form, which can be done, absolutely. I wasn't doing it. That might have been an issue. Jason says, can't you use a steak and butter diet to get to your body composition goals? Yes, you can, if you want to do it slowly. Once you get to a certain level and you're starting to level off towards your basement level and you want to push your physiology to another level to attempt to achieve yet more gains, which in 2 days, actually, Jason, I did achieve some significant gain that I haven't achieved in the last several months of eating steak and butter. So, in short, yes, to a level, in a longer form of the answer, and there are also many different ways of skinning cats. And because you don't necessarily know something about a particular method of cat skinning doesn't mean it's wrong necessarily. You should go and learn something about this, Jason, as I said before. Thumbs up, folks. Yes, do hit the thumbs up. The single largest cause of metabolic dysfunction, obesity, heart disease, etc. is not subscribing to my channel, hitting the like button, and activating the bell icon so that YouTube will probably not actually bother whatsoever to advise you when I put new material out for your entertainment and educational pleasure. Gabriel is dry fasting right now. Good for you. I hope you have a sensible, qualified, and knowledgeable practitioner overseeing you and counting your fingers and toes on at least a daily basis, making sure that you stay safe while you're doing that. If you don't, not happy, get one. People can contact me at the address going across the bottom of the screen now on the ticker tape anytime they want supervision for such things. Of course, the first thing we'll do is discuss whether or not you should do it in the first place in your particular circumstances. Or if you want to talk to me about any other aspect of your health, nutrition, physiological performance, exercise training, or any of those other things in which I am expert, that's the place you can contact me to organise consultancy with myself there. At that same link down there at the bottom of the screen, you can also buy fine t-shirts from the merchandise store. You can also invest in some very, very, very fine nutraceutical products which are designed to encourage and upregulate your adult stem cell renewal and repair process in your body to great effect. It is my opinion to say. Over 12 years of having taken that product myself, I warmly recommend it to all and sundry. So there you go. Amar, I love myself a good dry fast. It's amazing. Yeah, good. I also enjoy, well, I didn't enjoy it this time around. I actually found it quite torturous for the first couple of days until we got to the point where it became beyond just torturous. And it became a thing that we determined here in our inner circle here to be an unsafe thing to try and continue. Yes. Yes. No more Ted ranting and speaking truth. Oh yes, yes, Ted will still be available for YouTube viewers on the Meat Militia channel, which will be linked under this video in the show notes after the live has concluded and it becomes a pre-recorded video. We'll put that in the show notes. If it's not already there, I might have done it last night in my stupor when I was half asleep. It might already be there, the link to the Meat Militia channel. Go there and you can watch Yellow Ted doing his thing. Those of you who really used to enjoy my old style, my more visceral, my more abrasive, my more confrontational style of videos, you can still view all those videos. All you would have to do to find those videos is look elsewhere on other platforms who offer video hosting to creators such as myself. It'll be an odyssey of adventure for you to find where I might be out there. And if you're too stupid to get that clue, you don't deserve to find them. Right, okay, so that's what you do if you want to watch the old stuff. You go there. Oh, thank the Lord in the heavens. He's finally got it. Carry on, soldier. Awesome. Awesome. Very good. Very good. I was wondering what your major malfunction was. In fact, I'm going to screenshot this right now because to my eyes, that is just art there. Captain Dr. Ryan Attar. Right, there we go. Screenshot. Lovely. Save as to there. Done. Right, good. Good work, good work. All right. Had enough of watching my family guzzling that shit. I presume you mean the whey protein powders and shit, Shelley. You don't need those things, boys and girls, while you're training or otherwise. They run a bodybuilding shop. Well, yeah, okay. So there's money to be made, so they're going to push those things. It's the way of the world. Yes. Carry on, soldier. Promotion's looking likely for your son. You're doing well. Keep it up. Keep it up. You'll make major before you know it. Who knows? Even higher echelons are available in the Meat Militia for those who can follow orders. Yes. Like this soldier. See, there's an example. Doesn't need to be told more than once. Good work. Tom wants to know about the blood pressure, low blood volume relationship. Okay, there's a couple of things there, Tom. When your volume drops really low through dehydration, it also thickens up significantly as well. And as such, the heart has to work that much harder to pump what is ostensibly now a much more sticky, globulous kind of blood around. And as such, it has to really ramp up its contractile force. And as such, that exerts the pressure against the vascular walls, and that's what reads as your high blood pressure. Add to that the stress of the situation where there's a whole bunch of stress hormones floating around, which also tend to raise the blood pressure as well. And it can all lead to a situation that can turn very, very ugly very quickly if you don't act in a sensible fashion, as we have done on this occasion. Could the 3-day wet fast cold stress have had a negative impact on your dry fast attempt? It's not impossible, Dave. I'm not going to dismiss that and say, no, that wasn't the problem. I did that with malice aforethought. It was my plan to attempt to help me to prepare my body for what was to come. If anybody can give me a mechanism or a reason why that was a bad idea, please do. But I don't think that was the problem. Yes, very good point too there, Cappy. Very good point. Everyone should absolutely check out Ryan's chat this week with Dr. Sean Baker on his Fine podcast during the week, where Ryan was talking about being a carnivore and also being a type 1 diabetic. Also, for anyone who has not already seen it, number one, where the hell have you been? And number two, you should watch my discussion with Dr. Ryan Attar on this Fine channel, where we spoke about the Randall cycle. It was great. It was top shelf. You should see that if you haven't already. And you should share it widely so that everybody knows. This is vital information that just isn't out there. It's just not spoken about. It's information that is currently brushed under the carpet and has been for, since 1963. That's how long we've known about the Randall cycle. That's how long it's been pick up the carpet, sweep, sweep, sweep. We won't talk about that, will we, boys and girls? Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge, say no more. All right. Jonathan's been doing Carnivore for 9 days and is 11 pounds down. Good. Good work. Carry on, soldier. Keep doing that. If going down was your goal. If that wasn't your goal, then perhaps you should talk to me about what your goal is and I might be able to help you with it. But if your goal is to ask me how to cope with a 7-day dry fast at this stage, not sure. Still working on it. Or maybe I'm not. maybe I'll just put that one on the shelf. At least I will for a while anyway. And we'll see if it comes back up around again, and I'll have another go at it at another point and see if I have more success at it on another occasion. VT says, I wish you a quick recovery from Dubai. You mean you're in Dubai wishing me a quick recovery? I haven't been in Dubai. Good. Is it good for you to have a small sip of honey? It's neither good nor bad to have a small sip of honey on one occasion. Probably. Is it indicated? No. Is there any reason why you must do that? No. Is there any reason why you should do that regularly? Absolutely not. In fact, there are reasons you shouldn't. Should you up that to 100 grams potentially a day? Absolutely not. Paul Saladino, no, you shouldn't do that. But a small sip of honey on one occasion won't tip the scales one way or the other in terms of your health long term. It's what you do ongoingly that really has the biggest impact on your health. Okay. Do you need to take vitamin D3 supplements on a carnivore diet if you're not getting exposure to sunlight? It really depends on whether we can establish that you personally are clinically in a situation where that might be indicated for you. You'd need to talk to me about that. The risk with vitamin D3 supplementation is that they are almost invariably packaged in an oil carrier, and almost invariably that oil is often rancid, oxidized, no good even, and that is a very, very serious issue indeed. Yes, just playing with my camera, talk amongst yourselves for a moment. My computer system seems to think it knows better than I do what my settings should be, even though I untick the box, do this automatically, and I give it a number that I want that works. No, it decides it knows better. I really, really hate that. That really annoys me quite a bit. But anyway, I'm over it now. Let's move on. Hard, dry, fast equals lost in the desert. Yep. Does meat cause diabetes? I ask because there's articles on the net that state this. Those articles are nonsense. They are propaganda. They are false. Let me be absolutely unequivocal. Meat does not cause diabetes. The disease diabetes, whether we're talking about type 1, type 2, or type 3, is chronically elevated blood sugar. Nothing else. That's what the disease is. That's how it's diagnosed. That is how it presents. That is the pathological situation. Elevated blood sugar. Now, what is it, boys and girls, that leads to an elevation in the blood sugar? Oh, yes. Is it meat? No. No, it isn't. Okay, good. 5P, good to see you. Glad you stopped the dry fast in time. You're way too young to take off your earth suit. Indeed, I agree. I intend to stick around annoying those who identify as herbivores for a goodly number of years yet. There is much more aggravation I can cause those people still, and I intend to, in a different format to what I had been doing hitherto, of course, which I think will make you happy of all people, 5P, because you used to berate me non-stop about my use of certain verbiage and stuff. So, there you go. Ban says intermittent fasting is, agreed, not actual fasting. Quite right, it isn't. But I do think it's extremely beneficial only eating once or twice a day. I agree with that absolutely, and you are correct in my mind without any equivocation of any kind at all. It is absolutely beneficial to eat once or twice a day at most, And certainly not 3, 4, 5, 8 or 10 as Ban says there. Oh my word, lovely. You really are late, aren't you? Yes, you'll be staying behind and doing dusters with our friend from Wales. 3 days is Tracy's limit as well. Okay. Cool. Cool. Greetings from Arizona. Love your content. Thank you very much. Keep it up. I shall. Don't worry. That is the plan. Hence the safety first approach, so that I can continue to keep it up. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, I'm not sure that Ted would make the best coach, frankly. I'm not sure he'd make the best coach. In fact, I'm almost sure he wouldn't. He would encourage me to do the wrong thing at all times. All right. Yes, perhaps we should all start training, boys. Yep, that's one way. That's another way of getting, if you're doing a wet dry fast, that's another way of getting some electrolytes in. You can put Epsom salts or even sea salt or all sorts of different salts in your bath with you, and you can absorb that through your skin. Yes, it is the longest I've done, 3 days. I've done 3 or 4 dry fasts previously. I've never tried to go beyond 3 days. This was the first attempt at going beyond 3 days, and it's ended, unfortunately, in not being able to. Does that mean I'm physiologically incapable of it? I don't think so. It just means this time it hasn't worked out the way I wanted. In future it might work out another way, should I be inclined to try it again at some point. Yep, absolutely the right decision. I thought so too, as did Auntie Pim. Yes. You can muscle up over 50. Yes. Yep, I do believe that's absolutely so. I've seen many examples of it, Tom. And that will be my next challenge, I would imagine. Yes. Get back to optimal metabolic health ASAP. Yeah, my metabolic health is pretty good, Tony. It's pretty spot on. In general, everything is tracking pretty much the way it should, except I do not have the amount of muscle mass that I would like. That's not really a metabolic issue, though. That's more a health and general strength and readiness to meet the world thing. But physiologically, I'm in very, very good shape. Very good shape indeed. Thank you, though, for your concern. Well, does playing metal guitar count as well? It certainly can, absolutely, depending what you're playing and how vigorously. Yes. Just scanning through the chat, boys and girls. Chat amongst yourselves. Quietly. No chewing gum still, and certainly this is not an opportunity for you to throw paper darts down the back either. Actually, your electric scale percent of error may be the reason you went too low. On what, Rhino? Because the decision to pull the pin on this dry fast and on this challenge at this time was based on blood pressure, which was not measured by that scale. That was measured by a different piece of kit called a sphygmomanometer, or a sphig, a blood pressure machine. Urinary output, which was measured by weighing the urine in a jug which was first tiered on a scale, nothing to do with the biometric impedance scale whatsoever, and on some subjective experiences of pain in the kidneys, dryness beyond where it should be in the mouth, woolliness in the brain beyond where it should be, and a generalized disposition of this doesn't feel like it's the right thing to be doing at this stage. Beyond the normal discomfort of a dry fast, it was at a point where we were, no good. None of those things had anything to do with the scale. So please do explain. We'll wait. All right, good. Shelley's giggling. Giggle, 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 like a schoolgirl. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Say no more. Hello, hello, Kitty. Good to see you. Diddle-ding. You've already asked that question, Bruce, in terms of the diabetes. I've already answered it. The same answer is true for cancer. No, red meat does not cause cancer. That is absolutely false. That is propaganda. That is nonsense. That is an ideology. There is no science whatever that can support that claim. None at all. Cause and effect has not been established for cancer and any aspect of human nutrition at all, and it never will be. All we can have is the inferences of association through epidemiology, and those are universally of absolutely unacceptably poor quality in terms of the inferences that they make. I've spoken about that at length in the past, and will do so at length again in the future in remakes of some of my earlier videos, which will need remaking for publishability on the new format of the channel, if you know what I mean. A wink, wink. Do you think that Carnivore will assist in reversing plaque buildup in cardio arteries? Yes, I do think that. That is my opinion, absolutely. I strongly hold that opinion for a number of reasons. Yes, in short. Yes. Do you think the 3-day wet fast was too much? No, I don't. I've already said that. Filanoff says wet to dry is too stressful. Well, show me a mechanism by which that is so, and I shall be happy to learn. I can't understand why it would be. That doesn't make any sense to me. But happy to learn about it if somebody knows what the mechanisms are. Pleased to see you too, Sarah Wagstaff. Yes. How do you not get a headache? Well, I did yesterday. It was one of the subjective things that was on my list of things that was a reason to stop doing it at that time. Yes. Bo feels like a little kid covered in chocolate, denying having eaten the chocolate. I'm having coffee too, and I'm enjoying it because it's the first time in over a week that I've had any coffee at all. It's great. Lovely, lovely coffee. Yes. All right, so the chat continues, which is a good thing. I did want to talk about some of the things that we were able to establish and point to during the challenge as long as it did last. During the wet fasting phase preparatory to the dry phase beginning, I established a baseline loss of fat per day as a result of not taking food in, because I was fasting during those 3 days. As per the biometric impedance scale I was using, which, it has to be said, absolutely has a level of accuracy, but it also has a level of error. It's not a perfect piece of kit. There is no piece of kit that is perfect at measuring anything. Okay? The scale I'm using claims to be around 95% accurate. Okay, I will take that claim at face value without doing the studies on it myself or reading up on the studies or whatever. I can't establish or refute that claim other than that's what it claims. Okay, fine. So let's take that at face value for what it's worth. What the scale was telling me was that I lost an amount of fat over 3 days, which equated to 2,200 kcals per day if you make the conversion of mass of fat to calories of energy, which is a hypothetical calculation. It's converting one currency of energy to another currency of energy. Calories are heat. They are a measurement of heat. They are specifically operationally defined as such. They are specifically measured as such. Okay. If I was converting X amount of fat per day into 2,200 kcals, give or take, per day, what that means is that there was enough energy released by the oxidation of that fat in my body to heat 2,200 litres of water by 1 degree C. That's quite an enormous amount of energy output. How did I maintain my body temperature at 37 degrees Celsius resolutely and steadfastly throughout that process? Other than by losing excess heat to entropy. How did that happen? Did I genuinely convert that amount of fat into heat? No. Most of it went to forming ATP, which was a chemical energy storage form for metabolic process. As such, not turned into heat at that time. Some heat entropy was lost from that ATP when it was used at some point subsequently for that metabolic process, yes. But tracing where the energies in and the energies out came from and went to is a task that is N steps too far for anybody at home to sit down with a pen and paper and work out by reading the labels on food substances and saying, oh, that's 2,000 calories I've consumed today. I've spent 2,200, ergo I should lose an amount of fat that equates to 2,000 kcals of energy. And for that to be remotely predictably valid, for that to work, because it won't work. So my referring to my loss of heat energy off my body in the form of stored fat and using the terminology and the currency of exchange, the calorie, I did that fully tongue-in-cheek when I was doing that in my updates previously. Funny. So I hope you got that. Some of you didn't. Some of you are that challenged that you were making comments on my comment section like, oh, I thought you said calories. Oh, God. Do I really have to point out sarcasm and humour to you people? Some of you, I know most of you, no. Some of you, yes, still. It's incredible how lacking some people are. Anyway, that's also not why you're called. That's for another day. So the loss of fat off the body converted to heat, is that what happened? No. In those 2,200 baseline calories per day. So it's a conversion of energy units from one currency, if you like, to another, that we can describe it as being equivalent in amount, but it's not equivalent in practice. It's like saying there is a conversion rate between pound sterling and the greenback dollar, which there absolutely is, which is variable from time to time, of course, with some loss every time you change money from one currency to the other, absolutely. However, although they have an equivalence mathematically, they are not the same thing. You cannot walk into a store in the UK and put a greenback $100 bill on the counter and buy something with that. It is not money in the UK. That will not work. You have to go to the bank and change it into pound sterling to spend it in the UK. Goodness me, in the UK, in many places, you can't even spend Scottish money in a shop. It's still pound sterling, it's still legal tender. But some English shopkeepers will not accept Scottish money. The exchange rate is 1-to-1. It is legal tender. You are supposed to take it in a shop in the UK if someone hands you jock pounds. Some shopkeepers won't do it. I'm not taking those. Anyway, that's the reason that's not why you're called either. I just got off on that tangent because it was something in my experience from living in the UK that was, wow, really? Incredible. Anyway, there you go. So, what did we establish in those 3 days? We established a baseline nominal gauge on my energy expenditure, which I have described as a number of calories. It was nothing of the sort. Not remotely. I'm just making a conversion to that currency. I hope that's not too difficult for even the most challenged people to actually grasp and get your heads around. That's what I did. What did I do after that? Then I went dry for a couple of days, the best part of 3 days before my body decided it would have no more of that, thank you. During that time, my heat loss, my caloric loss, my loss of fat off my body as per the result on that scale, that same scale, went up 3.5 times. 5,500, 6,300, and 6,000 something from memory on the third day. Did my activity go up? No. Did my metabolic process go up? No, if anything, it probably slowed down because I wasn't in a good space. Is there any reason to suspect that I spent over 4,000 excess calories per day sitting on my backside in my house here just because I wasn't drinking any water? The answer is no. Was most of the excess 4,000 calories released as calories? Yes. Heat. It's the only appropriate time you can say it was heat because it was uncoupled respiration. There was no ATP being generated. My body was doing it to create water, and as a side effect, it was also releasing a whole bunch of excess heat. Calories. So people say, oh yeah, well you just increased your calories out. Yes. Well done, champ. You got it. I did. However, because I've said often and publicly, calories in, calories out as a tool for weight loss prediction and planning is nonsense. They take it to the nth degree and go, oh, this clown's saying calories in, calories out isn't true. No, I said it's not a valid, scientific, robust tool by which you at home can sit down with a piece of paper and a pen and plan weight loss. Well, you can if you vastly, grossly reduce your caloric intake over a period of time which is below the level which is suggested that anyone should do. for a period of time, which is much longer than anyone suggests you should do it, in order to actually overcome the vast margins of error on both the calories in and calories outside of the argument, such that the tool, calories in, calories out, is worthless to you, is contraindicated, is dangerous, is not a sensible approach. So those of you who are calories in, calories out church members who want to set up flaming crosses on my front lawn because you think I'm spouting some kind of anti-scientific heresy here, how about for once in your lives actually listen to what I'm actually saying instead of what it is you want to hear me say because you want to be pissed off with somebody? I hope that makes some sense. That's what we've established once again through another methodology in the last week. We've once again shown another reason why calories in, calories out, not a good thing. I mean, when you're working this out yourself at home on a piece of paper, do you measure your urinary output? Do you measure your heat output? And if so, how do you do that? Because heat escapes to entropy. So how are you gauging that? Are you measuring your feces, which contain energy? Do you understand that nutritional labels are allowed to be out? They're allowed to be in error by up to 20%. Do you know that? Do you understand that most protein is not oxidized for energy and as such, in effect, doesn't contain energy effectively available to a human? Most protein is used in your body structures and as such, its energy is mostly not released for energy. And as such, to say there are 4K calories of energy in protein, the exact same amount that they say is in carbohydrates, is fundamentally ridiculous, isn't it? Do you understand the thermic effect of protein is different as well by a large degree? Do you make those adjustments at home when you're working out your calories in, calories out and going, oh, this is why I'm losing weight, because my calories in is lower than my calories out? How do you establish your calories out exactly? What piece of kit are you using to measure that? Some online program that tells you what it is based on nothing more than your age, your gender, your height and your weight? How ridiculous is that? Or getting on a treadmill or a cycle ergometer in the gym that tells you how many calories you're burning per hour? What makes you think that's an accurate thing? That's an estimate with a huge error around it. I hope this is going up your flagpole, those of you who are in the calories in, calories out brigade and who still don't get this somehow. Okay, let's talk through a few more of the incoming comments and then we'll close off for the day because I don't want to be online all day. So there you go. That's the summary anyway. The summary is I started a dry fast challenge. I wanted to show this happening over a week. I was able to achieve about 3 days of it and then my body said no more thank you. So we sensibly pulled the pin on that for safety first reasons and we stopped doing it. And now I can report back to you. A few hours later, I've recovered. I'm feeling much better now, although there's still quite a bit of fluid to continue to pour in, I would say, over the next 24 hours or so. I've also partially refed, and I shall get much more nutrition into me during the day as well. And we move on from here. This is what we do. Once again, calories in, calories out, busted as a tool to use at home, you the general public, in order to plan your weight loss. It's not going to work for you. Not reliably, not predictably, unless you vastly, grossly overeat for a significant period of time, which will subject you to the risk of all sorts of other problems, complaints, metabolic disorders, organ system failures, nutrient deficiencies. It's not a good idea. It's not a sensible approach to managing your weight. All you have to do is eat a species-appropriate, species-specific diet. Thus, your systems will be automatically set to their optimum and your body mass, body composition will become optimum if you stay on that program long enough. So you eat only muscle meat and associated fat, occasional organ meats if you want to, some dairy if it agrees with you and you're okay with it. Probably stay away from the more sugary side of the dairy offerings. Hey presto, done deal. No plants, no fibre, just meat and fat. Okay, that's it. Right, so for those of you that want to tune out now, absolutely, go for it. That's the best of the information. For the rest of you, I just want to acknowledge some of your comments and things before we finish off. So let's go through it. Right. What was your overall calorie loss during the experiment? It was something like 16,500 or so, I think, Jeremy, over the 3 days. Which, by the way, is enough energy as heat to raise 16,500 litres of water by 1 degree C. Given that my body is, let's get a number on that. How much of my body is water again? About 35 litres. You do the math on that as to whether I really genuinely did release 16,500 calories. Would I not have died of hyperthermia had I done that over 3 days? Get out your pen and pad and your slide rule and work that one out if you like, Jeremy. Get back to us. That's your homework. Good question. Right. Put a fitness challenge together that the soldiers can train. I will. That's my next plan. And we'll follow along together. Oh, like this one you posted. Genes load the gun. Lifestyle fires the bullet. Yes. None of your genes are a fait accompli. All genes are up or down regulatable. Absolutely. You're not doomed to a certain thing because your genes say so. You can have a large effect over your outcomes by having sensible, temperate habits in your life. Absolutely. I hope to see you try it again. Yes, I think I probably will, but not for a while. Hey Ryan, good to see you, man. How are things in sunny Blighty? We've had a weather bomb down here in the antipodes. We've had extreme weather conditions. You look healthy. Yes, I feel pretty good today, considering how poorly I was yesterday. I was really not in a good shape. Ted dry fasting. Ted has a dry something. It's a dry sense of humour is what Ted has. Gluconeogenesis, question mark. What about it, Bruce? What are your thoughts on artificial sugars and alcohol sugars for diabetics? Disastrous. Potentially very disastrous. These are not good for anybody, even worse for insulin-dependent diabetics. I suggest you get rid of them if you are a person. Really, diabetic or not. Not a good thing. What is the easiest way to get off sugar and carbs? You need to talk to a good carb addiction coach like Auntie Pim. She can be contacted at pim@pimjohnson.com. pim@pimjanson.com. She'll be happy to coach you, I'm sure. CNG. What about who the hell is GN? Who the hell is that, Bruce? Don't even know who that is. Why are we talking about some company here that we don't know even who it is? Hey, Travis, good to see you. Any chance of the weekly live streams come back? Yes, there is every chance of it. We're looking to getting ourselves organised. Yes. Bigger, better, greater things to come in that regard and in that respect. Yes. Okie dokie. We should get Ted on TED Talks. I don't think they'd have him. At what BPs would you consider it becoming dangerous? It really depends on someone's where they normally track. Ideally, chronic hypertension is a bad thing, is a very, very serious thing long term. And if you're talking about people with blood pressures 200 over 100 for decades, that's a ticking time bomb. Those people are absolutely in line for a very, very serious problem, and I'm stunned that it doesn't happen often more rapidly than it probably should at that level of blood pressure. Anything over about 150 over 100 is starting to look very suboptimal in my mind. Your opinion on eating sardines once a week on Carnivore, so long as they're fresh. I wouldn't eat canned fish, not so long as my ass points to the ground, personally. Does asking if red meat causes cancer and diabetes cause diabetes and cancer? Yes, Travis, it does. Absolutely. Cause and effect. Studies show. It's proven science. Trust the science. Good. You may have already mentioned this, but how is your BP this morning? It's back within range of safety margin, but still slightly elevated above my normal. It was 131 on 83, and my usual is 115 to 120 on about 70. So I expect once I've fully rehydrated and refed that it will return to that level. Also, once I clear out all the catecholamines and all that kind of stuff out of my system. Wow, I just don't understand why vegans think meats cause diabetes. Well, it's because many vegans are running around telling them that, because that's the ideology they want to push. Hello, Kitty. It's also on a half-truth, half-baked, partial information. They're leaning on one half of the Randall cycle. And they're also suggesting something that's only true if you are eating a mixed macronutrient diet. Meat alone does not cause diabetes. Sugar alone can cause diabetes at very, very high intake levels, but is much less likely to than if you add any amount of mixed macronutrients, carbs and fats together in your diet, which will absolutely highly activate the Randall cycle to a much higher level, to a much longer period of time. It's that causes diabetes, not either one of the carbohydrates or meats, the fats in the meats, by themselves. It's partial information for the purposes of propagandizing and brainwashing the already severely challenged mentalities of a bunch of vulnerable people who are desperately looking for something to hang on to. It's a sad thing. It's criminal behaviour. It should be dealt with by fact checkers. Only we all know that fact checkers are anything but, aren't they? Okay. Yes. Yes, you do need to add me to your list of sensible meat people. How is life in Nelson compared to Greymouth? Well, we're near Nelson. We're not actually in Nelson. We're rurally some distance away from Nelson, which is great. We love it. It's more expensive. Yes. It's sunnier in general, although in the last month it's been really appalling for rain, etc. here. The winter is not quite so bitingly cold. Socioeconomically, it's a better place to be in terms of the people that are around and about. It's more pleasant for Auntie Pim, and everybody knows the adage, don't they, about happy wife, happy life sort of thing. She hated it there, she doesn't hate it here, so everybody's happy. Good. In general, there you go. Did you hear about Michael Klim's CIPD and carnivore diet? Number one, I have no idea who Michael Klim is. I really don't have time to watch a lot of other people's material. I tend to hang around certain bad actors and bad characters I already know about and follow what they're doing and respond occasionally to their stuff. I also don't know what CIDP stands for necessarily. You'd have to spell that out. Yeah. So, can't really help you with that question. I need things spelt out for me. Yes. Basically, TLAs are a PITA. IMHO. Wendigo, $5 super chat. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. It's what keeps the lights on. Not that $5 by itself. I would need many more $5 from people to keep the lights on, but it helps to keep the lights on, and I appreciate it very much. Thank you for that. I'm 28 and fit. Did strict carnivore for 9 weeks and lost 15 pounds, no issues. Excellent. Fell off a few weeks ago due to life circumstances. How should I go back to it? Do a progressive, getting the bad stuff back out again. Don't change your diet too markedly overnight. That's always a bad idea. Forgive yourself, move on, draw a line under it. Come and join us in the club again, and we'll give you your card back, and we'll stop pointing at you and laughing, and we'll stop saying you never were a carnivore and you did it wrong anyway. Oh, that's right, we're not doing that. We're not like those other people. Okay. Will you do any debates with any flurfers, climate changes, or forget? Look, I'll take debates with anybody pretty much at the moment, just because, why not? That's a thing that people seem to be interested in, seem to want to see. It's something of interest. It would garner some clicks and some views. Sure, anyone that wants to debate me, absolutely can. Obviously, we'll have a discussion beforehand. We'll set out parameters, rules for said debate. What can carry on, what can't carry on. We'll get a moderator in to moderate it if we think that it's going to be, sensible to do that. If you just want to have a discussion, we can do that too. People should contact me by email and say, I want to debate you on the topic of, or have a discussion with you on the topic of, and I shall certainly be happy to do that, I would say. Okay. Scanning through the chat. Don't most of your videos explain that calories are nonsense? What do you mean calories are nonsense? Calories are a measurement of heat. They are explicitly, scientifically, absolutely operationally defined and measured as such. What do you mean they are nonsense? They're not nonsense. They are a measurement of heat. And nothing else. They are a currency of energy, that being heat energy, which is a form of kinetic energy. They're not nonsense, they're just not the form of energy that human beings use to do metabolic work. And as such, they are not energy for human beings. They are the analogy of trying to use a greenback dollar to buy something in a shop in the UK. It won't work. We can't run on heat. We run on a different form of energy. Okay? I really hope that's getting through. I really do. If not, I can't help you any further than that. Scanning. I'm doing a Harry, getting behind on the chat, aren't I? As a fat bastard, I'm tempted to cautiously I'm cautiously tempted to dry fast for body recomp. Okay, well, make sure that you have somebody on hand, such as myself, the address is at the bottom of the screen, to supervise that. And it will start, obviously, with a discussion on whether it is a good idea or not in your case, given your circumstances, etc. Consultancies are available at the link at the bottom of the screen. It's been there the whole time. There it is. There it is again. There it is again. That's where you get hold of that. All right, good. Don't we all digest food different, so calories in can vary massively by digestion and human? Yes. Absolutely. And humans don't absorb calories. Calories are heat. They are a measurement of heat and nothing else. The energy absorbed by human beings from food is in a chemical form, a potential energy form, not a kinetic energy form, i.e. heat. Pound sterling and greenback dollar. Okay? Right. A bomb calorimeter doesn't have enzymes, hormones, etc. Also, it's not a completely open system. It's a closed system, which we're not. We're open. Good point, though, Ban. Would drinking your urine disqualify you from your dry fast? Yes, because that's water. And also yes, because it's just so stupid. It disqualifies you from being any part of our club whatsoever. You'd be laughed out of the place. Your body excreted it for a reason. Why the hell would you put it back in? Wow. Sugar is a secret killer. There's nothing secret about it. It's well known, Bruce. Great explanation. Many thanks. You're welcome. Send me some money. Keep the lights on. Is colour Doppler of carotid arteries the best way to assess overall body atherosclerosis? No, it's not. The clue is there of carotid arteries. It's a specific, site-specific test, just like the CAC scan is specific to the myocardium, the heart muscle. If you want a view of your overall body atherosclerotic burden, you would need to do a full body scan. Shelley's cooking dinner. Are you cooking dinner with your pants on, Shelley? I've heard rumours from you about that. Is it possible to purchase the anti-anxiety course? Yes. If you go to my click the link at the bottom of my screen, this one, or that one, or that one, or any of them, because they're all the same, you can purchase a membership to my Fine Patreon site from there. If you select to be a member of my Patreons at the $10 level or above, that will get you access to the anti-anxiety course in full. Yes. After the show, go and do that. Appreciate it. Apparently, the company that we were talking about before is a supplement store in the USA that sells supplements and protein powders. Bo has to go. Okay, Bo. Nice to see you. Thanks for being here. I have absolutely no fucking idea what that is. Spell it out, people. What is citrate supplement good for? If it's pure citric acid rather than a citrate salt, then it's really good for helping you to dissolve and flush out calcium oxalate deposits in your body. It flushes oxalate out of your system. It's also a very important intermediary of the tricarboxylic acid, TCA, or citric acid cycle. So that's what it's good for. Ever checked out my databases on my website? No, I haven't had time to at this stage, but perhaps you should send me an email and we should chat in the background, Travis, about probably doing some collaborative stuff. We'll make a video, we'll do an interview together, and we can see what synergies there are and how we can help each other cross-pollinate our communities. That would be a good thing. Do that. My email address is on the front page of my channel on the About tab. Yes. Okay. Recently I was told cooking egg yolks destroys the nutrients. Is there any validity in that? It reduces it very slightly, but it doesn't destroy it, so no, that's nonsense. Do you still get perfectly useful, serviceable nutrition from cooked eggs? Absolutely. Same is true of meat. Tess has to run. Okie dokie. The rain is courtesy of the Australian government. Thanks, Australians and your government. A good debate channel is at Modern Day Debate. Yes, I'm aware of that channel. Hey, Joe, good to see you, man. My good mate, Joe Zumbo, the Zumbaroonie. Would love to see you and Norton have a debate. Yeah, it won't happen, though. The boy's all mouth and no trousers. He's got no courage of his convictions, and he knows damn well I'd absolutely destroy him. And so yeah, he has already run away with his pants all full of excrement, frankly. He was challenged to debate me on something. He did respond to that by saying, oh, well, who is this guy anyway? And, you know, does he have the credentials to make it worth my while even spending my valuable time talking to him? And I said, here you go, Lane, here's my credentials, here's my background, here's my publication history. It's better than yours, son. Should we set the date up? Crickets. Okay, nothing. He's a coward, is what I'm saying, basically. He's an egomaniac, he's a coward, he's a boy in short pants academically. He knows I'd wipe the ring with him, pillar to post in any debate on any topic whatsoever. He'll never front up for it, ever. Okay. Do you know Dan Webb? No, I don't. Does urine have calories in it? Depends what's in the urine. $5 from Jason. Thank you very much. I appreciate those very much. They'll keep the lights on for another 5 minutes. The price of power, like everything, has gone up. Appreciate those though very much. Thank you, Jason. Yes, quite. He thinks he has more credentials than me. Yes, he is a comedian, although he doesn't intend to be. He's funny because of the stupid, ridiculous things he says, like, oh, the first law of thermodynamics states that mass is conserved. No, Lane, it doesn't state that at all. Mass is not conserved. Oh, my word. Oh, it's funny every time I think about it. If you want to see a critique of me on Lane Norton and his views on calories in, calories out, if you go to one of my other channels, which will be linked underneath this video, you will find it there, where I go through Lane's incredible video about calories in, calories out, where he gets absolutely everything wrong from the ground up. Right. Any tips on how to increase metabolism without using green tea or green tea supplements? Yes. Add some muscle mass. Cold thermogenesis. Eat more food. Eat the right sorts of food and not the wrong sorts. Take citrate. A short course of dichloroacetate. No more than 60 days at 5 grams a day, please. Only under supervision, which you can get from me at the address below. That one. Or that one. Or that one. By the way, I don't prescribe anything, and dichloroacetate is not a drug. It's a freely available chemical that you can buy online. So don't start saying, oh, he's practicing medicine now. No, I'm not. I missed the Lame Norton roast. You don't need to miss them. They're still all available for you over on that other platform that also offers video hosting to creators such as myself. The one that's free speech, I'm sure that you can undertake an odyssey of adventure to find it. That's where that is. Also, there's a recent one I've done on Mr. Norton on my other Fine channel, which I've just been talking about. You can go and search that one out. While you're there, go through my list of other channels that is linked underneath this video in the show notes and subscribe to every bastard one of them. Click the bell icon and hit like on all the videos and comment on every single bastard one of them. It helps. Also, maybe set up a playlist of my videos on all my channels that plays on repeat, and just leave it playing while you're not using your computer or your YouTubes or something like that for a while. That'll help too. Let's beat Al Gore and his rhythms. All right. Thanks for that. Great to have me back. It's great to be had, etc. By the way, I'm joking about playing around with the Al Gore rhythms, or am I? Question about Stem Enhance Ultra. When I take the Stem Enhance Ultra, how important are the other two supplements you recommend? I think they are quite important. If your finances dictate that you can only afford the Stem Enhance by its own damn self, the Stem Enhance, which doesn't really have a red label, it's actually green and it looks red because of my green screen, Stem Enhance, then that's great. Take the Stem Enhance by itself and it will do exactly what it says it does, and that means it will cause your bone marrow to release more adult stem cells than you otherwise would, which is a great thing. The other two products to which you refer are Plasma Flow, which is an enzyme-based preparation which clears your microvasculature, your capillaries, etc., allowing said stem cells more free access to where they need to be to do their magics. Very, very important that you clear out the junk and protein-based precipitates that are in your microvasculature by way of fibrin, which is an inflammatory protein. It's normally liquid in your plasma. It drops out of your plasma when you become inflamed, and it forms spiderwebby type meshes that block those things up, precisely to stop nasty bacteria and things from moving around your body, locking things down. It's one of the things that inflammation does. It sorts that out for you. And the third product, which you should consume on a daily basis, is Cyactive, which is an anti-inflammatory. So they're all synergistic. You've got the stem cell releasing agent, you've got the vascular cleanup agent to allow them to get there, and you've got the anti-inflammatory agent to tone down your propensity to precipitate more fibrin in future as well. So taken together daily as a wellness pack of 3, I think is absolutely Very important if you can possibly afford it. And if you can't, there is a way you can get the product absolutely for free if you want to. And if you're interested in that, you should contact me by email. My email address is on the About tab on the front page of my Fine Actually Science-Based channel, where I'll tell you all about it. You might even be able to make a decent living, actually, marketing as an affiliate, marketing the product range. I actually do. It's of my income streams, it's actually the most important one. So there you go. There's a word from our sponsor. They don't sponsor me at all, by the way. I am an independent business owner in the Cerule structure. I don't represent Cerule. Cerule products are not designed to diagnose, prevent, or treat any specific condition or complaint. There you go. Those are the disclaimers. But you can also get Cerule and get access to Cerule products at that link, which is at the bottom of the screen. The one-stop shop for all things Bart. Go to bit.ly/Bart-KAY. That's where you'll find it. Good. Is it okay to open up the STEM Enhanced capsules and only consume the contents? Yes, of course it is. Yep. If you pour the powder into a drink or something and do it that way, yep, you bet. Fine, good stuff. All right, we are at the bottom of the chat window. That was the last question. I thank you very much for your valuable viewing hours this evening for most of you, this afternoon for some of you, this morning for a few of us. Sorry I couldn't see through the 7-day challenge. It was my plan to see it through the 7 days. Safety is more important. And perhaps we were being a bit overzealous on the safety. I don't think so personally. I think it was we set good, sensible limits and we stuck to them when they were breached, if you like. So join us next for our next challenge, which will be the add some muscle mass, strength and functional utility situation. That will begin very soon. And also we'll be back to a round of videos in 5 minutes or less. And also the lecture series on Human Nutrition 101 will continue with lecture 4, which I have decided will be indirect calorimetry, gas analysis, respiratory gas analysis, that is. All right, yes, thank you, Bill. Appreciate that. Do feel free to send me all your money. You're doing God's work if you do that, basically, or you're helping me to do God's work. And it would be appreciated because it really is not cheap to actually do all this stuff. It's a labour of love, but I would also, really appreciate either some financial support and some shilling for me. Spread my links around, tell people I'm here, tell people how great it is and what a good community we have going here, and how awesome it all is, and enthusiastically support what we're doing here, and it should rub off on others. Bring a friend to the next Bart K live stream. Maybe we'll have prizes for people bringing friends or something. I don't know. Anyway, talk to you then. I'm going to go and finish rehydrating and refeeding and licking my wounds such that they are. Hope you got something out of today's session. Hope you learned something. See you next time. Thanks very much. Ciao for now.